those who do not know 3,000 years of history of various civilizations, cultures, their ideas, values and virtues, are forever the prisoners of the present. Get there. Now, whenever I look towards modernity, towards politics, societal transformations, ideological transformations, religious transformations, I have one litmus paper that never fails me. You may say that it is idealized, but we always move towards some coordinates, some reference points. And these litmus papers are source texts of the ancients, of the Greco-Roman ancients, of the Egyptian, Babylonian, Assyrian lawgivers, of the Hindi political treatises, whether it will be Kamandaki or Chanakya, whether it will be the legalist school of China, Han Weizi, or Confucius. It all leads to a certain reflection on modernity. Whether these political ideas, virtues, values are idealized or not, they were implemented and they somehow functioned in these civilizations. So why not ponder for a while and skim the best milk, the ambrosia of the ancients, in order to compare it to modernity. Now, in Rome, there was a vector towards the past. It was the ancients that were great. It was the ancients that were valuable. It was the ancients that were the protectors of those values that are nowadays inspiring us. Now, if you look at the mediocrity of the modern age, this metaphorical Kali Yuga, you can recognize how, by discernment, by comparison, by analogy. In the Book of Changes it was written that once truth hits the masses, people, they're liberated from a lie, from an untruth, from a deception, from a delusion, from ignorance. But they need to know. How many people nowadays study the ancient source texts on political treatises, on archaeology? Not many. Why is it worthy to study it? Because you remove the blinds from your eyes and you see that it could be different, and you see that it was different, and you see that we are not living in a golden age of comfort, prosperity and all that. But from the perspective of a soul, from the perspective of greatness, it is a dark age. And whenever I use complex adaptive systems, chaos theories, to understand the modern politics, whenever I use the multimodal Fox idea of going through headlines, going through the news, it's like a never-ending farce, a tragical farce, tragifarce. Because you recognize those ideas that were lost and those ideas that are presented as surrogates of the now. Fakes, illusions, surrogate of a surrogate of a surrogate. And they present freedom, but what is freedom? Ask anyone in the streets, what is freedom? He'll speak for 10 seconds. Well, it is when I'm free. But you ask them and ask them and ask them, and they get annoyed, like in the Socratic irony. They are incapable of answering what is freedom, what is justice, what is order, what is force, what is power. They are incapable. Because they're not reflecting upon it, upon themselves. What does it give, this litmus paper of mine? Of educating yourself, of being reflective, of being critical. It gives you freedom. Freedom to judge. Freedom to decide. You are not moving with the masses. You are standing like an anarch. Somewhat removed from them. And you're an autonomous unit. A mature, responsible, free person. What does it make you into? It doesn't matter. Between me and the gods, that's all that I want. And I can only beguile the fact that other people are deprived of this. Reflection, autonomy, liberty. And as soon as you realize that you shattered those fetters, it doesn't matter where you end up in life. You're already free, the liberty, pater liber, mater victoria. You conquered the within. And a master upon yourself, being a master upon thyself, is to realize all that. And to command yourself. You don't have to command empires, kingdoms. You command yourself. And in this command, from this command stems all authority over yourself. And then you're as if among the gods, because you matured to command over yourself. And there are plenty of modern day loser politicos like Trumps and other morons that never reach this autonomy or command within themselves. They're commanded by the crowds and by the whims, by the flawed ideas and by their opinions, by their idiotic behaviors and spoilage. What do you think the emperors, the kings were like, those who matured to this position? It is not about commanding the crowds, the republics, the empires, the kingdoms. It is that they commanded themselves like autokratos. And from this stemmed authority, from this stemmed command. Because they perfectly commanded themselves, and therefore they could command people. Now it's all reverted. People that would be considered slaves in Rome are in command. Is it some divine providence? You themselves put them there, as Solon of Athens once remarked. In other words, don't blame the gods for putting idiots in power. Idiots that are infantile, regressed, backward, ignorant, deluded, with heads full of shies. And I'm fully happy and satiated with this command over myself, with this discipline, because it granted me liberty. It granted me freedom. Whether I'm up or down, whether I'm in a well-positioned state or a beggar, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm commanding myself, as long as I'm the sole commander and emperor of my spirit, my daimon, my hegemon, commanding my senses, my thoughts, my willpower, my virtue and vice. Wheel of fortunes, we are placed here and there. But then again, if you command yourself, it is as if you would be recommended, crowned on Via Regia by the gods themselves. And you don't require verification from other mortals. You walk with them. You don't require any validation from mortals. The gods validated you. That's enough. What else to ask for? If you are friends with the gods, if they cherish you, what are those worldly affairs about? Just a game, a trivial spectacle. Nothing more to add. Thank you.